go, look, we need to find a balance between your liberty and security, right? And that sounds persuasive, it sounds fair, until you actually start to analyze it. You weigh it, you sort of look at it, you turn it over in your hands, and you go, well, this isn't really about liberty and security at all. It's about liberty versus surveillance. Because surveillance exists in a vacuum of security. Surveillance is enabled by a lack of security. It's where you're exposed, it's where you're available to be observed, it's where you can be tracked and recorded and monitored, right? Life becomes more private, life becomes more free when you are not observed, when you are not watched, when you're not recorded. And this gets into things that are fairly abstract. People don't like to talk about that much. But the real core question here is what is liberty, right? I could ask either of you, this is called the Liberty Report, and you may have different answers, right? You ask 10 people on the street and they'll have 10 different answers. We're not really taught in a concrete way what liberty really is, other than sort of the brand for Team America. But people have said recently, privacy is what we used to call liberty. And in the same breath, we say that privacy is dead. And that's a tragic thing, because what liberty is, I believe, in sort of a more concrete way, is the right to the self. It's the ability to have something that's yours rather than society's. And this is codified into our language, right? When we talk about private property, we're talking about your right, your ability to have something that belongs to you. You decide how this is going to be handled. You decide what color you want to paint your house. You decide what color shirt you want to wear. You don't have to ask anyone. Liberty is freedom from permission. It is the foundation, the fountainhead from which all other rights derive, right? People start to say these arguments like, I don't care about privacy because I have nothing to hide. And you shouldn't either. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. But this literally has its origins in Nazi propaganda, Joseph Goebbels. Privacy isn't about something to hide. Privacy is about something to protect. It's about the ability to be you, to have a thought for yourself, to have a thing for yourself, to have some difference, to have some idea that's new and untested and untried that you can sort of sharpen amongst those that you trust, and then introduce into the world, into that contest of ideas, and allow it to sort of walk out on its own. If we don't have that, we don't have anything, because the value of freedom of speech derives from that space to decide what it is that you actually believe, what it is that you want to say. Freedom of belief, of religion, doesn't mean anything if you simply inherit something from the state or from a family and haven't arrived at that belief on your own. It goes on and on and on. Whether we talk about the right to a fair trial, to due process, freedom from search and seizure, every right that you look at in the Constitution has a nexus to that right, fundamental, foundational right to privacy, because that's what allows you as an individual to have some claim to this world that is your own. Saying that you don't care about privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about freedom of speech because you have nothing to say.
I think that is so true.